Most disappearances don't make noise. They start as a pause in attention, a silence that feels ordinary, and then quietly expands. Nick stands in his living room, a late afternoon sun cutting across the polished floor, revealing the faint dust that's always been there but never noticed. He notices the small things first. A cup, slightly out of place. A crease in a napkin. The absence of a sound he thought he'd heard. It feels normal, mundane, but something inside him registers that this ordinary moment is a hinge. He cannot yet name the unease, but it coils around his chest like a slow, persistent current. Amy is elsewhere, her absence palpable though unseen. Nick's thoughts wander, looping through possibilities. Each scenario seems rational, yet his body reacts as if danger is near. There is tension in the quiet, the kind that doesn't announce itself but lingers in muscles and skin. A subtle suspicion grows, not loud, not violent, just insistent. He feels it in the back of his throat, in the restless shift of weight from one foot to another. He recalls their life together in flashes. Laughter at the kitchen table, quiet evenings with books, the soft undercurrent of competition in their conversations. There were cracks, small and easily dismissed, but now they seem to pulse, amplified by absence. He realizes that knowing someone intimately doesn't guarantee understanding them. Sometimes it hides truths until the very moment you need them. The police arrive, and the official procedures begin. Nick is measured, calm on the surface, yet internally his mind is fracturing into microdecisions, strategies, recollections. Every glance, every question is a test of memory and instinct. He wonders what he might have missed: small gestures, offhand comments, minor habits that, in hindsight, were signals he ignored. Each recollection brings a quiet tension, a sense of sliding responsibility. Meanwhile, the narrative of Amy's disappearance weaves itself through newspapers, neighbors, and social media. The public perception is a quiet, insistent tide shaping reality in subtle ways. Nick feels the pressure, not as an immediate threat, but as a slow erosion of certainty. Even friends and family, once anchors, become sources of ambiguity. Every word they speak carries layers of interpretation, some benign, some laced with judgment. As days pass, the stakes rise without spectacle. Nick must navigate interviews, media, legal scrutiny, and the silent scrutiny of his own conscience. The danger is not overt violence. It is perception, reputation, the slow twisting of facts into narratives. He recognizes that truth is not absolute, but negotiable. And yet, there is a moral tension in the negotiation. A quiet awareness that choices, even minor ones, carry weight far beyond their immediate consequences. Midway, the story reframes itself. Details emerge that challenge Nick's assumptions and the viewer's perception. Amy, once perceived as victim, is glimpsed as architect, carefully, deliberately shaping events. Suddenly, the world feels smaller, more confined, yet heavier with implications. The psychological depth of each action becomes clear. Deception, performance, control. It's no longer about disappearance alone, but about how one mind manipulates the environment and the people around it with deliberate precision. As the layers unfold, Nick's internal conflict sharpens. He must balance his survival with his moral compass. Every decision is measured, quiet, necessary. The tension lies in restraint, though avoidance of rash acts that might betray him or exacerbate the situation. He begins to understand the breadth of human duplicity and the fragility of trust. Towards the conclusion, the revelation is subtle but profound. Amy returns, not with apology, but with a calculated statement of control. Nick's choices shift, not because he understands completely, but because he adapts to the realities of her presence. The psychological consequences settle into the quiet corners of his mind: the compromises, the unspoken agreements, the weight of coexistence under observation. The final scene is not cathartic. It is reflective. Nick sits across from Amy, the air between them taut but calm. The audience feels the lingering tension, the human truth that some bonds are maintained not by affection alone, but by negotiation, by understanding the cost of confrontation and the necessity of restraint. And in that quiet, the mind continues to churn, to calculate, to adapt. Gone Girl leaves the viewer with the subtle, unsettling notion that the danger in intimacy is rarely dramatic. It is structural, psychological, woven into expectations and perception. The most terrifying realizations arrive not in moments of chaos, but in the careful, deliberate unfolding of choices, motives, and control. And as the credits roll, one carries with them a lingering thought that human connection is as fragile as it is compelling, and understanding another's mind is a task whose full weight may never be known.